We out here. We just got to the next spot. The Algonquin Resort.
Bro, I kid you not. If I was like Andrew Tate wealthy, I'd probably bring 20 different girls here, have them in 20 different rooms, pay for all.
We are in the Algonquin. Check that out. See that window? Look how sick that is.
The roofing on
Actually,
that
right?
it looks nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
That could have been bad. That was an elevator roulette right there. We're going down to the car. We're going to get the rest of our stuff. We're coming back up and getting ready for the ghost tour, which is at 8 o'clock.
I don't know. I just want food. I'm gonna be honest.
Mitch is just hungry. Beau's scared of a deer, so he's hiding in the room. It's an old hotel. It's pretty sick. We'll do more exploring later. Secured the packages. Algonquin. She's nice, you know. Mitch will bring in the spooky vibes. They got a water slide. We're gonna go on that. We got a
gym. 24/7.
24/7 gym.
We got a graveyard down the road that we're gonna go visit.
Graveyard down the road.
Hopefully get some food.
And Mitchell wants some food.
It's okay. Bro, fix your hair at least. This is a respectful place. Like, oh my goodness.
Alright, now for those of you who don't know, we're not actually standing inside the original Algonquin Resort. Now, our original building had opened up in 1889, but had unfortunately burnt down in 1914 due to a tarring incident that happened up on the roof. Now, fortunately, there were no casualties, as everybody did make it out all right. However, this entire building was burned to a crisp. Because of this, there's not a whole lot that we have left from the original Algonquin building, except for this piano right here. Now, the reason why we have this piano today is there was a bellman who worked for us back then who had ran back into the burning building to save this piano. Now, I don't know about you, I would not do this myself. I'm very thankful, though, for what this bellman had did. As you can imagine, it's a very important piece within the resort's history. Unfortunately, though, a couple years later after this fire, the bellman had supposedly passed of a heart attack while playing the piano for a guest. Now, we believe this is probably the reason why he had ran back into the burning building, as he was very well known for playing his piano for guests who came to stay with us. Nowadays, though, a lot of people are convinced that his spirit is linked to the piano, as there's a few ways to tell if the ghost is with you. The story that comes up most commonly is some guests in the slower season around the end of January, start of February, have actually heard this piano being played in the middle of the night. Standardly, this shouldn't be too weird, as it is what pianos are made to do. They're made to be played. But this one's a special occasion, as we can't actually get into it. That's because the keys that would unlock it are made of ivory or elephant tusk. So unfortunately, when we misplaced the original keys, we didn't have the means to remake it, so we just kept it here for storytelling purposes. There is another way, though, to tell if the ghost is with you that has nothing to do with piano. As I'm sure you're probably aware, we have 2 elevators here in the main building for guests to go up and down amongst the to get to their guest rooms. It's located between the gallery and the main lobby. The elevator we have, which is located closest to the lobby, some people have supposedly seen the bellman standing in this elevator. Now, they describe his look the exact same every time. He is a man in his early 30s with an attire similar to mine, except he has a jacket on and dress pants, and the look was all in beige. This is the look that we had for the bellman back in the early 1920s, which you believe is probably at the time of his passing. Every guest who has seen this bellman, though, has always had great things to say. Being in the hospitality industry for so long, we can only imagine he must be very well equipped to deal with any and all guests that come his way. Most guests, after seeing the bellman, tend to stop by the front desk and say, "Look, the bellman in the elevator did an amazing job. Is it okay if we leave a tip here for them?" Now, as much as I would love to pocket this tip myself, I do have to let the guests know as there should be no bellman who is sanctioned in the elevator. Now, as you can imagine, there's a few mixed reactions that will get to this, as some guests will never step foot in the elevator for the remainder of their stay, and some guests use the elevator every single chance that they get. We'll be heading down one more floor now here at on property to the landing of the pub, and we're going to go over our most popular of all of our stories, the story of the bride. Please follow me. Said this next ghost is the most popular of all of our ghosts, and there's a reason for this. That's because this ghost haunts one room within property. Standardly, we cannot tell you what the room number is, and not every guest wants to know, and I tell you it's on the 4th floor here in the main building. However, this is a smaller group. Just a show of hands, would you like to know what the room number is?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So the room number is room 473. It is a bridal suite that we have on the 4th floor here in the main building, and the story goes a little bit something like this. Back in the early 1900s, there was a bride, or soon-to-be, who was planning to marry their fiancé. Now, their fiancé was a fisherman who was out at sea, planning to return the day of the wedding. However, he never showed. To this day, we're still uncertain. Perhaps maybe he got lost out at sea, maybe he got cold feet and decided not to come. But nonetheless, it had broken the poor woman's heart, as she had stayed up all night in the room crying. Now, we didn't bother her for the duration of the stay, as we probably imagined she may want some alone time, but on her departure date, we had to check and see how she was doing. It was at this point we had unfortunately discovered she had taken her life in this room. To this day, we still don't know how she had taken her life, as it was very taboo to talk about mental illness, and all the newspapers back then had stated she died of a broken heart. If you're staying in this room, there's a few ways to tell if the ghost is with you, and as you can probably imagine, the ghost is very resentful towards all the men who stay in this room. If you're a man who stays in this room, you're probably not going to have the most enjoyable sleep of your life, as they've always had some form to complain. Maybe they say the room above them is being too noisy, even if they're on the 4th floor. Maybe they've woken up multiple times throughout the night in a cold sweat, and sometimes a room adjacent to this has called down in the middle of the night, say there's been a woman crying next to them all night. Now, I have occasionally worked the overnights here at the property, and I have received this phone call once throughout my many years. It was last year, December 2nd. I was at the front desk by myself, and it was 2 in the morning. The phone went off. "Good morning, thank you for contacting the front desk. This is Ethan speaking. How may I help you?" The guest said, "Look, it's very late, and I'm sorry to bother you. There's been a woman who's up all night in the room next to me crying. Can you please check and see how she was doing?" Of course, I told him we'll head up immediately and see what's going on, but what I can't let the guest know is there should be nobody who's checked into the room. I have to say it's very nerve-wracking heading up to the haunted room, knowing there should be nobody in there, but of course there's a poor woman crying. As I had knocked on this door, I didn't know if I want somebody to answer or nobody to answer. Luckily, there was nobody there, and I'm still alive today to tell the tale. Now, as you can probably imagine, it's a complete opposite effect for a woman who stays in this room. Every woman that has stayed in this room has always enjoyed their stay in at least some regard. Maybe they say the mattress that they slept on felt like a cloud. Maybe they want to rebook this room over and over again, but nonetheless, they always want to come back to the resort in at least some way. Also, I'll let you know that if you are staying here during your stay with your spouse or significant other, it's very common for this ghost to make couples to argue more commonly than not. So, if you get in a spouse with your significant other during the stay, I'd like to say it's alright to blame it on the ghost. We all do it now, and it's completely natural. We'll be heading down one more floor now here with on property to the very sub-basement where both the housekeeping and maintenance team is located, as we'll be heading down an old abandoned tunnel we saw here on property. Follow me. Alright, so in a few moments we're going to be heading down the tunnel you can see here behind me. There are a few rules that we have for this tunnel though first, however. First off, if you're on the taller end of the spectrum, much like myself, I recommend staying to the left-hand side of the tunnel to make sure you don't hit your half any dangling legs or equipment that may be there. Secondly, sometimes puddles can form on the floor. It'll vary day to day how bad these puddles are, but they do tend to be avoidable, so make sure to watch where you're going. Third and finally, if you are claustrophobic, you do not need to come down this tunnel, as we'll be coming back out this end anyways. That being said, anybody who would like to follow me, please do so now.
Sounds good.
I don't know if you want the cameraman to go first or not.
Yeah, jeepers, creepers. Cameraman never dies. This roof might be really high for you.
So can you get there?
Right, make it faster.
Storage room.
So first things first, I did semi-lie to you when I said the tunnel's abandoned. It's still used to this day, albeit nowhere near as much. Now this tunnel was mainly used back in the 1900s as staff members weren't allowed to be seen coming to and from work, as that was considered taboo. Nowadays though it's very different, and I'm allowed to be up and about with everybody, and I'm very thankful for that. You're probably wondering where we're located right now though, and in case you don't know, we hire people from all around the world to work here at the Algonquin, not just from Canada. Because of this, not everybody has a place to stay, so we have a couple of buildings posted up for staff members to stay for a discounted price, the building here being one of these buildings. Taking a look down the tunnel, you can probably imagine why we don't use it anymore. First off, if there's a lot of foot traffic, it's down there, it gets very, very hot, very, very fast. If there's a lot of rain or snow that has melted, that flooding can get semi-severe. But third and finally, a lot of our staff members are convinced that this tunnel is haunted. The ghost that's down here in this tunnel is called our night watchman. He was an older gentleman, he worked for us for quite some time in his late 80s or early 90s. He was very close to retirement, but one day when he went home, he had unfortunately passed in his sleep. We believe he doesn't know he had passed in his sleep because he keeps coming back to work for us to this day. His job as a night watchman was essentially night security, and being night security for a building so big, you can only imagine how many keys you must have to carry around. Nowadays, we have technology like this get rid of that on me, but he would not have this benefit as he has a key ring with a couple of hundred keys. Now walking around, this makes quite a bit of noise, as this is the noise you're going to hear when the night watchman is near you. He is most commonly heard down here in this tunnel across from room 115 by the staircase, as this is where our nightly rounds begin. However, he is not limited to these two places, as he can be heard anywhere within the main building. He does stay away from the Prince of Wales building though, however, as that extension had opened up after his time of passing, as the Prince of Wales building opened up in 1993. We're going to be heading back down this tunnel now. There are a lot of pictures that we passed by that I'd like to talk to you all about. This is mainly of the history of the resort. Would you like to lead the way, or would you like me to follow behind you?
Up to you.
Alright, that's alright. I'll lead the way this time.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll take on the ghosts.
My hair's a little T-shaped. I don't trust this.
Alright, so this is the part of the tour that lets everybody stop and take a bit of a breather. This is mainly for myself, but please feel free to join. The stairs don't get easier, I promise. Whew. So like I said, this next story is my favorite of all. We'll get to why that is in just a moment. But first off, the story of Benjamin. Now Benjamin was a small kid at the time, was passing around the age of 6 or 7. He's very well known around this resort for a few reasons. As number one, he was here for almost the entirety of the year with his mother. Secondly though, no matter where you saw Benjamin, he'd always carry around a red ball, as it was his absolute favorite toy. Didn't matter where you saw him, he saw it at the floors, at the walls, oncoming guests or staff members, it didn't really matter. One day though, Benjamin was in his room playing with the ball as he repeatedly threw it over and over against the wall. One time though, he had missed, and this ball went straight out the window. Benjamin had promptly chased after the ball. Unfortunately, he did not survive the fall. Now to this day, you will notice that within your rooms, about all the windows we have are about waist height, maybe a little bit higher at that. Back in the day, we did not have the same building codes that we do nowadays, so some of the windows we had went all the way down to the very, very floor. Fortunately, Benjamin did not survive the fall. He is still with us to this day, although being in the spirit realm now. There's a few ways to tell that Benjamin is with you. The story that comes in most commonly from guests, but I tend to disregard, is they say they hear a small child which laughs off in the distance. Could easily be another guest here on property, but I like to bring it up because a lot of guests do as well. One that comes up less commonly than that, but more often than you would think, is some guests have the story they see what felt like a small child had shoulder checked them in the back of the hip. Now when they turn around and see what had just hit them, this is where their story can vary, as sometimes they'll see nothing there, and sometimes they'll see a set of footprints that go around a corner or into another room. There's no room in particular though, however, as Benjamin is very playful and can be found anywhere here within the main building, once again staying away from the Prince of Wales building as it opened after his time of passing in 1993. So why is Benjamin my favorite of all these ghosts? We have a picture of Benjamin here within property. It's not a picture when he was alive, and don't worry, it's not a dead body either. It's a picture of Benjamin in the spirit realm. I pointed the picture out to you earlier, but I don't think anybody here had realized. We have the same picture once again right over here. This is the gallery of the main building after we reopened back up. Right here in this very front chair, there appears to be a small silhouette of a boy who is sitting in there. You can see his curly hair, his shoulders come down on either end. It looks like he's looking at something which is located in his lap. Not all guests can see him, and some guests can. I think it's easier to see with a flashlight on, while others would disagree. I'd like to take your time looking at this picture to take a look at Benjamin.
You see him, Mitch?
Yeah. I can see him clear as day.
Now, once you've all taken a moment to take a look at Benjamin, this itself is actually all the stories that we have here on property. However, there was another story that we had told for years and years and years. Now, this last story has actually been debunked. Now, because the story has been debunked, we had stopped telling it and no longer know how this story goes, but we know the story had originated from. This last story had originated from another picture we have here on property, right over here, the original Algonquin Resort. Right here in this third floor window, there appears to be a woman standing here who does not have a head. This is our very first ghost for the very first Algonquin Resort. And her name was Headless Woman. Very original, I know, right? So like I said, we had told her story for a very long time, but nowadays, though, technology is a lot better. We have the same picture about 6 to 7 times bigger in some of the hallways around the resort. You can find that picture across from room 475, 1108, and 3308. If you were looking at that exact same window where she is standing, yes, she does have a head. It's very grayed out and is lacking a lot of detail, but it is still there. It's actually a chambermaid we had back in the day, more commonly referred to now as a room attendant or housekeeper. Now this in and of itself is all that we have here for the stories here at the resort. I hope you had enjoyed the tour. Now of course, if you have any questions, such as maybe is there any specific dates, is there anything else that you didn't tell me on this tour that I need to know, please follow me back into the lobby. I'd be happy to tell you all of those extra little details that I have. Of course, if you need anything while you're here tonight, please don't hesitate to reach out, as you always have somebody here at the front desk 24/7. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, see you guys later.
Yeah, you too.
Ghost tour was a success. Next is the ghost hunt. But first, we got back from the pool. It was actually so fun, I'm not even gonna lie. We've been down a slide like 50 times. We're literal children. But anyways, now for the spooky part of the video.
DJ, what are you laughing at that, bro?
Now for the spooky part of the video. We out here. We're at a cemetery that we found right up the street from the Algonquin. We just pulled up in the car. Mitchell and I are walking in right now. And so far, spooky vibes. Very spooky. Hear that? Do you hear that? Mitch, what is
I
shine?
can hear that. I'm looking on.
Hey, yo, what the? There's a creature.
Brother, there's something there, pal.
Anyways, we're at the graveyard now. Gonna do a little ghost exploration. Got the EMF here. We got the cat balls. We got the spirit box. Gonna see what we can make of it. But, somebody's house. There's no way somebody would live on a graveyard, right?
No. I don't even think that's legal.
Yeah, let's go over here. Bro, these graveyards, like, look at this. Look how old this thing looks. 1840 to 1920. The EMF's going off. Shine your light at the EMF.
That was just going off too. Oh,
You see it?
that was a big spike, pal. I went up to a...
We've actually never had that go off before. Okay, well this is where we're gonna sit.
Okay, well, bring it your channel.
Alright.
We got your walkie-talkie.
Yeah, well you can see me well.
Yep.
Okay. Alright. We're getting a little bit of EMF action here. We've never actually gotten that before, so if there's anybody here with us who wants to talk, we have this little green light on the ground that you're more than willing to go up and touch. If you touch it and spike it up, we'll know you're here, and that's a good way of communicating with us. So you're more than welcome to do that. We also have a device here called a spirit box. How this works is it's going to switch between frequencies, and you can talk through it to us. So when I ask you a question, you can answer, and we'll hear you, whatever you're saying. So you're more than welcome to use that too. So we'll give that a go. Is there anybody here with us? Hi. That was quick. My name's Carter. What's your name? I heard like a Kenzie and then something else. Do you know where we are right now? I think I heard grave. Just to double check, is there anybody here with us right now? We've actually never had it go off before.
What are you freaking out about?
I just heard a footstep right here.
No, you didn't.
I promise I thought there was an animal right here. Hey, yo. Bro, it sounded like, listen for a second, it sounded like this. That's what it sounded like. Like on the grass, it sounded like feet shuffling.
Could have just been me.
No, that's why I jumped this way, because I thought that animal that we saw earlier was sneaking up on us. Anything that was here trying to communicate with us, you are not allowed to leave with us. You're to stay in the cemetery. Thank you for trying to talk with us.
I go to merry-go here.
We're in the haunted elevator right now. People see a ghost here sometimes.
We go see it my.
For the next part of our investigation, we got Beau sleeping. Mitchell. We're doing the Estes method. So for those who don't know how that works, I have noise canceling headphones on attached to the spirit box. I will not be able to hear anything. I'm going to sit there, eyes are closed, headphones on. Mitch is going to be asking questions. While he's asking questions, whatever I hear from the spirit box, I just blurt out. So I don't hear the questions because I got noise canceling headphones on, and it's just kind of like a test, I guess. It's a sick investigation that we're going to do. We're going to see how it works. We've never actually done it before, so we'll see how that works. I got red lights set up for the spook effect. I got the EMF reader. I got 2 cat balls there. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, after some technical difficulties, we finally got it to work. We got all the red set up. So, the noise canceling headphones, I can't hear a thing with them on. They're working like a charm. This is what I'll be hearing. That's what I'll be hearing, and then any words that are popping up, I'll hear. So, going into it, Mitch is going to be asking the questions. I'm going to have a blindfold on. I'll have these on. I won't be able to hear anything. After about 10 minutes, he'll wake me up. Unless we're not getting any answers, then he'll wake me up sooner. So, we'll see you guys. Okay, whenever you want, you can start asking questions.
Is there anyone with us tonight? My name's Mitch. What's yours?
What?
My name's Mitch. What's yours? Is there anyone with us tonight?
Hi, maybe?
My name's Mitch. What's yours?
Move? Like a really deep voice. That was actually kind of creepy.
Move. Why would I need to move? Any cute girls?
That said something, but I couldn't hear what it said.
Ask again.
It was that same deep voice from earlier.
Is heaven real?
Problem?
Is heaven real?
Did not.
Did not. What?
And now, twice. That girl voice both times.
Is there anyone here with us tonight?
In charge?
Is there anyone here with us tonight?
I heard that same deep voice again, but I couldn't hear what he said. Hi?
Hi.
Maybe?
Is there anybody that would like to talk to us?
Here. Whoa, that was a girl's voice. Said here. Ready?
Ready for what? Ready, steady, Freddy.
Can you stop? Girl's voice.
Can you stop what? Can I stop what? Nothing.
It's bright as crap out here. Just try not to read my lips. I'll put my hand over my face. Is there anybody here with us? Mitch, can you hear me? Mitch. Mitch. Okay. Is there anybody here with us at all? Is there anybody here who's willing to talk? Look at this kid, man. Like...
Hello?
Did you just say that?
Hello?
Are you repeating that or are you hearing that?
Hello? Is anyone here?
No, you're asking questions. Is there anybody here? We just want to talk. We're just here to get your
Hello?
story. Blew the entire breath into his throat.
Pedophile.
I'll make you eat my.
Ready to go?
We didn't get a lot. I'm not doing the Estes method, so we're just gonna go for a little stroll around. It's about midnight right now.
12:43.
12:43, almost 1 o'clock. So we're gonna be quiet. And we're just gonna go explore the Algonquin, see what else we can get content-wise. This is
Downstairs.
that same spooky elevator that supposedly that bellhop uses. The guy in the tour was saying, Ethan, his name was.
I'm gonna like try blinking really fast to see if I see him.
It's the fastest blinking I've ever seen. Beau's moving around. I can see it on my vision camera.
Is it?
I'm gonna test something.
What?
If there's anybody here with us, can you take us down to the lobby, please? Can you push L for lobby and take us down, please, Mr. Bellhop? We'll leave you a nice tip. You hear that? You're the bellhop. It doesn't feel like we're moving.
No.
It's actually kind of strange.
I don't know. I do not like that.
We're at the piano. The tour guide was talking about earlier. He said it's locked. You can't get in. That's where the guy ran back in to save it when that fire happened. He said every once in a while it plays. People hear it playing, they say, even though it's locked. That's the spooky part. Play, piano, play. That was lame. Bro, look at this guy up in the window. That's actually so scary, man. Holy. Believe it or not, but Beau actually would have started crying right there. He has a problem with deer.
So scared of that.
He is scared of that, isn't he?
That's crazy.
You know why? Because the deer is actually twice as tall as Beau is.
That's fair.
Beau is about half the height of a deer, so it intimidates him.
I'm gonna plug in.
Actually, speaking of
Same
Beau,
way.
do you want to see what Beau's doing right now? Take a look at this.
What do you mean?
This is the entrance, and then we were just walking down steps as Beau is in his slumber. Mitch and I are still exploring. It's about 2 in the morning, and we're about to come across. Where is it? How do we miss it? Oh, it's this way. I think. 473. That's the bride's room that we tried to get in, but it was booked. I tried to request it earlier, and they said they only do check-in, or they only assign rooms at check-in, so we didn't get in. They said every floor on the 4th floor is haunted, because whatever ghost is up here goes back and forth, but the bride mainly stays in that room. That's supposedly the room that they found her dead in or whatever, so anyways, kind of a bummer that we couldn't get it. Especially because we weren't getting a whole bunch on the spirit box in our room. But that's okay. We're going back now. Beau's still in the midst of a slumber. But we might go in there, crash for the night. We'll have that night vision cam set up, and we'll see what happens. Any words, Mitchell?
No, not really.
There you go. No, not really.
Oh, this guy went out of his way. Taking the road.
Stop. It's pepper. I told you. It's pepper. And you still did it.
Yeah.
Like, what? I told you it's pepper. Every pepper on my maple syrup. How are you recording? No, thank you, baby girl. I'm coming. I'm stopping. Oh, it's empty.
You're no. We survived the night at the Algonquin. Nothing super spooky happened at the resort. The cemetery, we got some answers. We got a couple answers in the room. Nothing too much. But breakfast was good. It was a buffet. Delish. We made it out of there. It was beautiful out in the morning. And we survived the night. So all in all, it was a very fun trip. We had a lot of fun on that water slide. But yeah. I'll see you next week for episode number